South America is the new Middle East. We went into Iraq and Afghanistan. We went into Iraq predominantly to look for weapons of mass destruction so that they couldn't kill Americans with those weapons of mass destruction. And what we were really looking to go in there for is to get oil. Now we're going to go into South America looking for weapons of mass destruction, this time drugs, so they can't kill Americans with them. But what we're really looking for is oil, and in some cases, lithium. We are repeating it all over again.
President Trump has just classified fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. The term weapon of mass destruction was first coined during the Second World War, and it had to do with chemical agents or massive-sized weapons that could do massive structural damage. It is mostly responsible, though, for kicking off a culture of fear, and it is definitely a bellwether for when the United States wants to go to war. The term weapon of mass destruction was used once again in 2003 for George W. Bush to justify the invasion of Iraq. We all know how that went. Well, we did find about 500 so-called weapons of mass destruction throughout Iraq. They had been made in the 1980s and were totally corrosive and could never have been used. And thousands of people who signed up to serve this country because they believed what their president was saying died because of it. This president's action in Venezuela is just about as popular as W's action in Iraq was. So it is not lost on me that Trump today has decided to use that term weapons of mass destruction again. So for those of you keeping score, weapons of mass destruction officially mentioned unwinnable war that is being waged based on the ego and personal grievances of the president. Eminent.
We're going into South America. We're going into South America. You've got Lindsey Graham beating the war drum for going into South America. Republicans have never met a war they didn't like, especially if it resulted in us getting some oil and or some lithium deposits. I understand there are some lithium deposits in Venezuela that might be of interest to people who Donald Trump knows. We're going to go into South America the way we went into Iraq, and it's going to be another drawn out, God knows how fucking long we're going to be in their conflict. Like I told you before, my 24-year-old daughter was born May 16th, 2001. She has essentially never known a United States of America that wasn't invading some country in some military conflict around the world up until Joe Biden ended the Afghanistan war and finally got us out. Whether he did it rightly or wrongly, up until then, she did not know a United States of America that wasn't at war. And here we go. We're heading back into a war as she's expecting her first child in the spring. And it's extraordinarily possible that her first child will not know a world where the United States is not invading somebody and making war with somebody for a significant chunk of her life too, or his life. We don't know the sex of the baby yet, but I mean, here we fucking go again.